What's going on, guys? Kaiga here. Today we're going to do a review on the Fire Dragonite Leica. We're going to talk about his build, we're going to talk about stats you want, as well as I'm going to walk you through some gameplay. Let's get into it. Alright, so this is the build of the Leica that we're going to be watching. Mine isn't brought up enough. He's at Awakened 11 right now. I need to get him a few more copies so he's ready to go. But as you see, I do agree up here with destroy rage, so crit damage and destroy damage. Instead of talking about slot 2, 4, and 6 of what you should be looking for, I rather talk about stats and get them however you see fit. So I think the about 6k attack, 3k defense, 65k HP, just fine. You would want 5 more attack, but you're not going to go super out of your way to hit the 120. This crit rate is actually right in the right spot. It could actually be down to 85 and still be perfect because his first skill, as we'll see, always has elemental advantage, which is 15% crit rate. So he will always be critting. Good crit damage, doesn't matter. Obviously, he can go up to 400%, but he is a brawler, so you need these stats up here a whole lot more. Accuracy, you could say up to 60% would be good because he does have stun on his second skill and ultimate, but that's not really what he's here for. He can do it, it's great if it happens, but it's not really the focus. Very little precision. Most of the top players don't care about resistance or evasion, because they aren't stats that really matter at the moment, because even if you have 100% resistance, you'll still get hit by status effects. Now let's get into some gameplay after we check out his abilities. Alright, so first we have his basic attack, which is basic. He's on the lower end. Normally we see these 165s or 200s. He's on the 165 side. Then we have the skill that matters, Justice. 3 mana cost, 18-second cooldown, almost 900% damage, and drains 50% of damage dealt, and always has attribute advantage, which is that 15% crit rate as well as bonus damage. Then we have Dragon's Fang, which is nice, and we're not going to actually ever cast it ourselves. We're going to let him do it on his own, as you'll see once we get into it. Attacks AoE, does a stun, gives himself a shield when the shield's destroyed. Oh, sorry, when the shield's destroyed is his passive. Shields 50% damage dealt. Then his passive is he can't take more than 12% of his max HP per hit. Whenever he's hit by a skill, 35% chance to use Justice, which is the attribute advantage skill. And if shield disappears after taking damage, gives himself immunity for 10 seconds. Now, a good thing to note is when the passive is casting Justice, you can't also cast Justice. Very similar to Genos does it as well, because he will use his second skill when he casts his first skill and they have CC, and you'll see a little circle around the skill. You won't be able to actually cast it while it is currently being cast. Then his ultimate is just the same as his second skill, but with bigger numbers, as well as getting attribute advantage, which is okay. It also heals him for 35% more damage, really awesome. Ignores damage reduction effects. Now we know the build, now we know the skills, let's get into the gameplay. Alright, so right here in the first match we see the draft. Our guy we're watching is Hirith. He obviously banned the Tessarian because he puts on the block passives, which can go on Laika, so we can't show you Laika if he has no passive, right? Because his main thing is when he takes damage, then he uses his skill and he can't take over a certain amount of damage. Now those get turned off when you have Oblivion on you, obviously. So we can't have Tessarian. They banned our Oblivion over here, which is oh well. And then we go into the gameplay. Now, first thing I want to notice is as soon as we load in, notice the undead right here. That is the Nikki passive. Nikki right here that every certain amount of time during the match, she applies undead to the unit with the highest attack on the enemy team, which is Hirith. So whenever he would heal and reduces the healing, and if he would heal, it becomes negative, becomes damage. So we see they're doing their battle in the middle. It's always good to watch the cooldowns. As we see, Laika just cast both of his skills in the top right hand corner. So as we go, yeah, just used his skills, so you switch on to him. You always want to keep those cooldowns in mind. Very similar to what we're going to see now. We're going to be using the first skill over and over and over again, and then after a while, when we feel the cooldown of the second skill is up, we switch off of Leica, and then he will use it himself, and then you can switch back to him and use that first skill more. Targeting the summoner, going right at him. Look at that damage. Look at that destroy. He's the only source of destroy on the team. So just look at the amount that he is destroying. He is more effective against the green panda. Notice he just did it. He swapped off of Leica and he immediately used the second ability on his own. So the summoner did not have to use the 4 mana to use the ability. Staying on top of the summoner, making him run. Going hard on him. And it's considered elemental advantage. Dead. Dead. It's just satisfying to watch the whoosh, whoosh. And then let's check out the scoreboard. So we see his Nikki. It could be an offensive energy set with a bunch of attack because Nikki heals based off of attack. I have seen people do energy set with attack percent and attack flat. Then over here we have destroy, which obviously on all these, this is an old Juno build it looks like with despair, because despair, destroy also doesn't work with the bleed anymore, so that is not great. 300% crit damage. Good offensive, almost 8k attack, which is great. Then let's look at the graph. So enemy summoner did a bunch, but Leica did the second most. And remember, we know that Hirith has more attack than Leica, but he has a spammable S1 with elemental advantage on any target, including summoners. So let's get into the second match. Alright, so we're in the ban stage on this one. We are banning the Wusa because the shields are going to be a big deal. Destroy does not work on shields. They are going to ban our unit right here. Self-banning because they have immunity. And they self-ban down here because we don't have a water tank unit. They're going to keep up immunity to make it rough on us. Now, we see what's going on, and this is the matchup that you want right here. Leica versus Green Panda is your best matchup because Green Panda is going to keep using skills on your Leica, which Leica is going to keep counterattacking and destroying that Green Panda HP. Ooh, onto that summoner. Look at the damage. Look at the damage. Every time you see that dragon swing around, look at that. Boom. It doesn't seem like 35% at this point, right? And then he swap off of Leica, so he uses his passive on his own. And you saw that Leica kept getting low. He got down to 18% at one point. But look, after 2 passives, after 2 procs of his passive, he's up to 61%. So he is going to keep himself up. The only way to really kill him is Oblivion and one-shot him. Or, you know, he even has 2 defense downs and went from 18% to 61%. Gaining roughly 20% of his max HP per counter. Look at that counterattack. Use his, wait for him to use his skill. And we're going to swap over to him in just a second once his skill pops. Bam. And then look at the Panda. Panda's on roughly max destroy right now, because you can only destroy 70% of max HP, leaving 30% left. And this is like 35, 38, something like that. So we almost destroyed his entire health bar that can be destroyed. And now whenever we're going to focus the summoner, and then once the summoner gets in a good position, like gets away from us, we can two-shot the green panda while away from the Shushu, because Shushu is going to fall behind the summoner. See that Shushu ran behind the summoner. Bam, bam. Look at that. Dead. 2 shots. Dead. Dead. And gave up. So now let's check out the scoreboard. Good crit rate, needs more crit damage. Lots of HP. Good attack, very similar. Rage, destroy, exactly what you want. I don't know about shield on aerial, but it might have had good stats. I don't know. And Shushu looking okay. Actually should have a third set, really, unless he has good runes that are a broken set, which are fine. Then Laika. This is what happens when you pick Laika against Green Panda. Green Panda with the AoEs and attacking all the time, triggering Laika over and over and over and over again. Let's get into the third match. Alright, here we are back in the ban phase. Ban this guy over here because he can strip all of our bonuses from these 3 units down here. The Dark Raven could be an issue. Let's see what they self-ban. We want down here Annabelle, because she can get rid of the frostbite down here as well as the sleep over here, but can't get rid of knockback or knockup from Taor. So Taor still has a shot to change things up here. They self-banned the Dark Raven. That's a no-no. Unless he isn't ready to go and you're just using him for someone to ban. This Dark Raven could have made a difference. Because we have a bunch of heals down here. Sure, Ikeda down here has shields, and you can't destroy shields. But Leica main thing is taking damage and healing back, but can't heal the destroyed damage. I feel like that was a bad self-ban. Alright, let's see. Focusing on the summoner, as always. Getting on the back line. They have immunity. Look at that damage. Boom, boom. It's just crazy, especially against a big, thick unit like Taor, who would have elemental weakness because he's water and you're fire. The first skill just says, by the way, elemental advantage. Bam. Ooh. Look at that destroy damage on the Taor. His secondary support unit's down. The Taor's down. Back up. Now we're just on the summoner. Bam. Oh, one more and he's dead. Okay, he quit. He knew one more first skill would have been death. But oh, we didn't get the scoreboard in this one, it doesn't look like. Nope. They quit too fast, and I guess Hayworth clicked out of it. Let me know what you guys think of Leica down below. But Leica is a very, very powerful unit. He is not overpowered. He has several counters, being Undeath, Oblivion, and Destroy on him are very, very powerful. He is a very good unit against AoE or low damage monsters, such as the green panda. Panda does a bunch of damage over time, but a lot of it is AoE and small hits here and there, which procs Laika, and then when Laika uses Justice, the first skill, he will heal himself. Let me know what you guys think of this Laika review, and if you want to see the other ones down below. Till next time, guys.